Welcome to the Online Success Journey Podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey Podcast, Patience.
Welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 316. We have a wonderful guest for you today. So make sure to click to subscribe right now and ensure you'll never miss a journey. I post 1 to 2 episodes each week and each guest has a fascinating story to tell. Today we have Ryan Beachum, founder and the CEO of Harvey. In 2016, he created Harvey and has constantly led the industry in independent resort marketing and resales. Hello, Ryan.
Hi, Patience. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. My audience are excited to hear your story, but just start by telling us one thing we are going to learn from you today that will help us on our journey to success.
Oh, happy to. The importance of persuasion in all of your interactions. And so the importance of persuasion means that in every interaction that you have, how you say what you say has as much impact as what you say. And just about my journey to get here and the persistence it's taken to arrive here.
Wow. I can't wait to hear about that. But let's get started with the basics. Can you tell my audience a little bit about your background, about what you did before you started your own business?
Certainly. I was a real estate broker for a number of years, and I did very well doing that all the way up until 2008. So most people know what happened in 2008 with the crash of the economy, what became the second worst economy that we've ever had, certainly in the U.S. and really all over the world. It was a bad scenario, as I'm sure most people recall. But no one was buying real estate anymore. And I ran into a friend that I had not seen in years that I grew up with that was still selling a form of real estate, but it was a timeshare. And it was interesting that was still selling in spite of such a bad economy. So I started working for the largest timeshare developer. Also, my brother, who is my co-founder, started so that he could learn more as well. And it was a very interesting thing that we learned related to, being able to sit with people on presentations. And I took people through various exchanges, RCI and Interval International, that were coming to the resort, and ultimately learned how to kind of convert them to happy new owners. Brandon also had an experience of, sitting next to some people out here working for this timeshare developer in Wyndham. And, this girl he sat next to had a very long presentation on helping people manage their account and ultimately saving them enough of their points to be able to rent them out and offset their maintenance fees. So what we both learned together is that there was an opportunity to really do that, and nothing but that for timeshare owners, and started a company in 2011 called Resort Share. To do that, it grew very quickly. So it was essentially like a property management agency for individual timeshare owners to manage their accounts. Grew very quickly, and in fact, it was at one time ranked one of the fastest growing private companies in the country in Inc. magazine. So it just kind of took off very quickly, and so that was an interesting transition from what was just selling real estate into actually getting in the travel industry. And in 2016, we started Hello Vacay and have developed a partnership with Priceline Hotels to offer people private rates to affordably, flexibly access private rates to resorts and hotels that they've never been able to access before.
Wow. What a background. What a journey. Are you enjoying the journey?
I am enjoying the journey, and it is, it's been a lot of ups and downs, but anybody who's an entrepreneur knows that's just part of the ride. You have to be willing to take and accept a lot of failures as you go. And if you can't take, what can be a bumpy ride, then someone should not be an entrepreneur.
Why do you do what you do?
I do what I do because I enjoy the industry I'm in, and I enjoy allowing and helping people to be able to travel more affordably. So that's really the extent of it. My company is offering people access to inventory that they have not been able to access before, and it provides them a really flexible, affordable way to do it. And I enjoy kind of spreading the word and trying to make that happen, and vacations and travel attainable for anyone and everyone.
Let's put man aside. How do you know you're successful in your new venture?
I know I'm successful in my new venture by really helping a lot of people to experience travel, and people getting away more. Obviously, as a company, we have bills to pay, and that's all very important to bring in revenue and all of those things. And certainly we want to grow as much as we can. But at the end of the day, the more we can help people, travel that maybe couldn't travel before, couldn't afford to travel, and provide them a new way to do it that they're happy with. I mean, from our perspective, we want to be really, really customer centric. In other words, the joy and happiness of the customer, of the user, is really what brings us success.
What have you learned from business as a whole?
What have I learned from business as a whole? Really, the thing that I have learned from business is, it's really just a bunch of people at the end of the day. There's no superheroes. I think there's a lot of people that think, starting your own company, whatever the case may be, is a daunting thing to do. So a lot of people don't go down that road. But what I've learned from business and dealing and interacting with people is they're just people. I think one of the worst thing anybody can do is assume that they can't, and not everybody needs to be an entrepreneur, but I think the worst thing anybody can do is to be intimidated in business, or to feel like they can't reach out and connect to certain people, that they need to kind of just stay in their lane, so to speak. And like I said, it's all just a bunch of humans, figuring out how they're going to send their kids to college. So I think it's really important to connect with people and reach out to people and ask people for help, and you can get there.
Thank you for breaking it down. Yeah, as you mentioned that it's just a bunch of people, but some of them, they are born with an entrepreneurial mindset, and the others are really not born with that. What do you have to say about that?
Well, it's certainly okay if someone, does not feel like they're naturally business minded, or they don't want to start a business. All those things are perfectly acceptable. At the end of the day, what you want to gauge is how happy and joyful you are in your day to day. And so if you're just making a living, even if you're not making a bunch of money, of course, whatever the case may be, but you enjoy the work you're doing, then that's success. But I think there are a lot of people that unfortunately are not happy what they're doing day to day, and then they have to ask themselves, well, why am I doing it? Maybe it's because there's too many what ifs and that kind of thing. And the reality is, at the end of the day, there's no real job security for anyone anyway. So you might as well take some calculated risk in your life and go for what you really want to do. We spend a lot of time at work, whether it's working for ourselves or working for someone else. And it's really important that you're not spending a big percentage of your life, just doing something that you don't enjoy. So that's all I could say. It's been said in a lot of ways before, but find whatever you do, whether it's working for yourself or it's working for someone else, where you really enjoy what you do every day.
Tell my audience about the magic moment, the day it suddenly all went right for you.
That it all went right for me?
Yes.
I'm still waiting for that magic moment. It certainly doesn't all go right for me, although I've had many, many, many failures, and then I've had a few successes. So, and I don't think that's uncommon. So, I still have challenges all of the time myself. I still have failures, but I accept that. I'm okay with that. In fact, I ultimately celebrate those failures because every failure I have gets me closer to another success. And the truth is, you can have a lot of failures, but if you just have one or two major successes, that changes your life. So I have a lot of things that don't go right, but at the end of the day, I'm doing something that I love doing and I enjoy doing. And so I'm happy to do it with the understanding that I'll have failures sometimes.
What are you still doing in a way you work that you just know you have to stop doing?
Good question. I think one of the things that a lot of us do is we really focus too hard on realizing certain goals and achievements without thinking about the quality of our consciousness. So some of us compromise our quality of consciousness because we're always living in the future, right? We're always trying to reach a certain goal. And so our mind is in the future, and here we are in the present. So I think probably the thing that I would want to work on the most, and I think a lot of people should work on actually, is really being present and really kind of monitoring your quality of consciousness as you go throughout your day. Don't get into a scenario where your quality of consciousness is very low and you're always living in the future and chasing something.
Can you tell us a few secrets of travel industry?
Oh, yeah, certainly. So there are a couple of things that I'll just mention very quickly. So for one, a lot of hotels and resorts have unsold rooms that are only accessible traditionally by travel clubs and sometimes expensive travel clubs and that kind of thing, and wholesalers and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of inventory out there that people have not been able to access. That's one of the things that my company is doing for people. Another thing is something called parity pricing. And parity pricing means that a lot of these online travel agencies that people book through have very, very similar rates. A lot of people have noticed that. So if you go to one online travel agency, you see a rate for a hotel, and then you go to another online travel agency and the rate is almost the same, if not the same, for the same hotel and the same dates. The reason for that is a lot of these online travel agencies have agreements with resorts and hotels that they will not list the inventory for less with a competitive online travel agency. So what happens is you have kind of a flattening of the pricing. Some people would call it price fixing. But you have pricing that is very flat. It's all the same across the board, and unfortunately, I think that's to the detriment of the people that want to travel more affordably.
So how does now your company comes in and saves us to save on the money then?
Yeah. So what we've started with, and ultimately we're going to pursue other sources, is, I've worked with Priceline, as a distributor for a number of years with my last company, Resort Share. And over time, we've been able to circle back with them and get a partnership for their private rate inventory. That's not just on the public booking sites, but privately held inventory. So it has to be behind a username and a password, behind a paywall. And so it's membership based, but they are private rates that are not publicly available. And those rates, are up to 50% off and beyond all the public booking rates.
What is the most dangerous belief an entrepreneur can have?
Would probably be that success, should come easy and it should come fast. So nothing worth achieving happens overnight. And so you really have to have the mentality that, I'm going to get into this. I'm going to go after this, goal, with creating this entity, this organization, this new company. But I'm going into it with the understanding that I'm going to have plenty of failures, and that's going to take a lot of time. So people need to play the long game more, right? We're in a world where people really look for instant gratification, and our society has really become more and more instant gratification. And you have some people that have been, famous and successful for really, in some cases, haven't done a whole lot. and so that is the exception. That is not the norm. 99.9% of the people that you see that are really successful doing what they love, making a lot of money doing it, have a lot of free time to spend with their family and friends and to travel and that kind of thing. The people that you view as successful worked really hard to get there, had a lot of failures. Typically, it took a lot of patience and persistence, getting knocked down a bunch. That is how you achieve success. So I wouldn't advise any entrepreneur to go into it thinking, oh, well, I'm just going to go in and, make millions the first year. That's not a healthy mentality for an entrepreneur.
How long did it take you to pay yourself a salary out of your business?
Let's see. Well, I started with this business, which I started in 2016. During a lot of the first year, was spent really just trying to figure out a business model that made sense for resorts who we started contracting with, independent vacation resorts, understanding what their needs are and the problem that we need to solve for them and how to get through to them and how to market to them and how to get them under agreement. And then also how to reconcile that with what works for the company. What is the service the company's actually able to provide? So you got, it's really been kind of just reconciling those two things. And then so there was, a large part of the first year, maybe even the second year, meaning 2017, before I started actually paying myself with Hello Vacay.
If you could rerun the first year of your business, what would you definitely not do?
I don't know that there's anything. I mean, certainly knowing everything that, I would immediately have a business model that works. If bringing back the information I have right now, but, otherwise, I feel like, we went through and tested things pretty quickly. We had a number of failures, a number of things that didn't work. We had things that we thought would work for a resort, and then we'd end up start talking to resorts, and they said, no, this doesn't work, and this is why. So, at the end of the day, anything really requires small scale test. And so ultimately what I recommend to entrepreneurs is iterate, test things as quickly as you can. And you don't have to have a perfect product or service, right? You just want to create something to be able to test and get feedback. And then you can iterate and make it perfect once you find out that there's, product market fit, that people actually want and need this product and service. You can always refine it, but move fast, iterate quickly, and test, do small scale test. And so that's what we did when we started the company in 2016. Is we had a theory based on all the information we already had in the hospitality industry. And then we did a lot of tests. We put together what we thought would work. We failed a number of times until we found something that works.
What is one thing that has contributed to your success?
One thing that has contributed to my success would be, I think, the willingness, like I said, to fail, and the willingness to persist in spite of those failures. I'm not scared of the consequences of failure. So I'm okay with it. And so I think that is a very helpful factor in my life. Is I'm okay with taking the adventure and putting myself out there, and okay with the failure to get to where I want. What I'm not okay with is settling in life and, just, doing something that I don't enjoy doing for someone else that maybe I don't enjoy working for. That is the worst outcome you can have, especially when we spend so much time working. So that would be my answer to that.
Tell us about sales and the power of persuasion in all facets of life.
Yes. So the power of persuasion is, and some people call it the art of persuasion or the science of persuasion. It immensely affects every aspect of our lives, including work, relationships, negotiation on anything, whether it's personal negotiation or you're negotiating on consumer goods, services. It is the thing that affects everything you do. And so one of the important things that people can understand about the impact of persuasion is it's as important how you say something as what you say, right? And so someone can say the same thing in two different ways, and it has a completely different impact from each other. And so just as an example, Bill Gates, who, I wouldn't necessarily assume would say something like this, but, I guess when I think about it, it makes sense that he did. Being a technology guy, he's not traditionally, a marketing and sales guy, but said, not just convincing your customers to buy your product, but convincing people to extend credit to you and convincing people to come to work for your company are all parts of the power of persuasion, and that the skill set, the attribute of focusing on, the power of persuasion, the art of persuasion, is the most powerful attribute any great leader can have. And I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that's something that Bill Gates said recently.
Wow.
who clearly has been, wildly successful in his life. And again, his point was understanding how people are affected and influenced is it affects every aspect of your life. Everything you do, it impacts. So, there's a lot of different things. There's a number of different books. There's a lot of things online, YouTube videos about it. But there's all kinds of things that people certainly can read to kind of think about this more. But in terms of confidence. If it's a product or service or even yourself, building value, rapport, authenticity, passion, drama. Do you have a product or service where there is scarcity or urgency? Do you have a product or service where it helps to have testimonials? These are all things that impact how people interact with you or your product or service that are very, very important.
In your business, do you have a mentor or a coach?
I don't have one mentor or coach, but there have been a lot of people that have been mentors or even coaches to me over time that where there was not that formal relationship. In other words, I've learned a lot from watching and working with people over the years, and I've gleaned information, from doing that. And so, as I put myself out there as an entrepreneur, I've met a lot of people, I've worked with a lot of people, and I've just really consider myself a pretty observant person, and I certainly can reflect back and look back at certain people that I learned an awful lot from just being around and proximity to.
What is the most valuable thing you have learned from those people around you?
Well, those have been different things. I mean, some of those things have been related to leadership. Some of those things have been related to marketing or sales or persuasion. One of the things that I've learned in the past, from people is, taking out hierarchy in businesses and really creating a culture where you're eliminating titles and telling employees that they can only work a specific role. So really one of the things that I've learned from watching other people is creating a culture where everyone is on equal ground, and that starts at the hiring process, and where people feel really respected and where they enjoy working there, and removing, like I said, the hierarchy. One person told me before, he said hierarchy is a scenario where you've got a lot of people that are either kissing up or they're pissing down. So we don't want that, and so we really want to flatten that out to where everybody within the system feels equal and respected, and they all just have different roles.
Let's talk about your business. Tell us more about it and how can we join it?
Sure. So again, what we're trying to do is to give everyone access to private rates that they've never had access to. The inventory that's traditionally only been, attainable by large travel clubs and bulk wholesalers and that kind of thing. So we've developed a subscription-based access for our platform where people can access that private inventory affordably and flexibly. So what I am doing just for these series of podcasts that I'm going on is I am giving any listeners for your podcast a free year. So understand that for our subscription, people are paying $79 a year to join. And so I've set up a landing page for your listeners where they can get a full year of it completely free, just to try it out and to access all the private rates that they haven't been able to access before. So that's at hellovacay.com/free year. So it's our website, hellovacay.com, the word hello, VACAY, short for vacation, hellovacay.com/free year. And so it's just got 3 steps on there. The first step is you'll see a link that you can share for Facebook, or you can share a post through Instagram or Twitter. So all we ask you to do is to share one post. The post is right there. You click on it. You simply share it. If you take a screenshot of it, on that same page, you can upload the screenshot, and it will give you a free year. So once you share it on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter from the page I just gave you, take a screenshot on your social media, and then take that screenshot and just simply upload it on hellovacay.com free year. You'll see where to do it there. It gives clear instructions, and then just try it out for 1 year. Compare it to the other online travel agencies, and you will be blown away at these private rates that are not publicly available.
What is your long-term vision for Harvey?
The long-term vision is really to be the most affordable, flexible travel club that exists with these private rates. The most affordable, flexible travel club that exists in the world. We want to have different sources of inventory, of private rate inventory. So we'll work towards bringing in more inventory that's not publicly available. We'll bring in benefits in terms of discounts on attractions and sightseeing, concierge service, those kinds of things for our members. And then we're going to build lots of technology that, custom technology that we believe is interesting for people, like conversational commerce technology, and that makes our brand and much more accessible to people. And so, really different sources of inventory, benefits, technology that's really user friendly, and people make it easier to interact with our brand.
Thank you. There will be more from Ryan in a moment. If you are listening to this on a podcasting platform and you are encouraged by Ryan's journey, please go to our website at onlinesuccessjourney.com. The site has tons of audio clips from hundreds of successful entrepreneurs' guests' journeys, all there to help you find a path to your own online success journey. The site offers exclusive members-only content, and you can join absolutely free and be part of this amazing online success community today. Check it out. That's onlinesuccessjourney.com. Now, Ryan, I would love for you to share more with my audience if you are up for it.
Certainly. I'm happy to.
Thank you. Do you like to watch movies or read books?
I like to do both, depending on what mood I'm in. So sometimes it's movies, sometimes it's books. Typically, it's movies if I'm tired of thinking too much. And then it's books when I'm ready to take in more information. But I'm going to give it to books.
Tell us, what is your favorite book that has some relevance to being an entrepreneur?
I'm reading one right now called Hooked, Hooked. And I'm sorry, I don't have the author right on me at the moment, but it's a book called Hooked. And I highly recommend it for any entrepreneur. Really good information on how we use a product or service, and how we want to keep on coming back to that product or service, and kind of the philosophy and the all of the information on how that occurs.
If your business was down to its last $100, how would you invest it?
Ooh, down to the last $100. Well, fortunately these days, there are a lot of things that you can do for less than $100 that you can even do for free, such as a social media presence, that kind of thing. So, if I were down to my last $100, where I'd focus a lot of my energy is on again, through social media, the power of persuasion, offering people any value that I can, and doing that without spending a bunch of marketing money.
If you are going to keep a note to yourself in your pocket every day, what would be written on it?
What would be written on the note would be, just do your very best and let the cards fall where they may. In other words, don't beat yourself up too much on, again, going back to, you're going to have failures. We all have failures. All we can only control certain things, right? Mm-hmm. So if you do your very best, and at the end of the day, you can say, I put 110% in today to do the best, to use all the skills I have, then that's all you can do. And then things aren't always going to shape up exactly the way you want them to, but sometimes, even though it doesn't look exactly like you want, it's all better anyways. So let the cards fall where they may.
Do you feel like you succeeded or like you are only on the way?
Yeah. So I feel like I've succeeded every day in that I'm doing something that I enjoy doing. It's like you hear people say, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, right?
Yes.
So it goes back to, the quality of your consciousness. You don't want to think, well, I'm only on the way, and then at some point when I have enough money, when I have enough success, when I have enough fame, when I have enough this or that, then I can be happy. Then I'm successful. No, do what you love daily, enjoy the journey, and you're successful already. So that's the way I feel about it.
Will you ever stop?
I will never stop. I will always be looking for new, exciting projects where I can make a contribution. I will keep on going, no matter what, just because that's what I enjoy doing.
Remind us how we can connect with you once more.
Yeah, so I've set up a landing page just for your listeners, Patience, to get a free year. And it's just all it asks is to share one post on there. On social media, and you can pick Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. But the page you go to is hellovacay.com/free year. Hello Vacay is HELLOVACAY. hellovacay.com/free year. And then it gives really easy instructions right there on sharing a post, taking a screenshot on the social media, and then uploading that screenshot on that hellovacay.com free year page. And then and so what people are paying, $79 for access for a full year, you will get for free. So I want everybody to do that because you'll really enjoy it, and you will not believe the private rates that are not publicly available that you'll have access to.
Thank you. Ryan, it's been great to have you here to share your online success journey with us.
Yes, thank you so much, Patience. I have really enjoyed this.
Thank you. Remember, success is a journey. Don't wait. Let's start the journey. Patience and Ryan.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to Patience and her guest and want you to know there are hundreds of episodes available at onlinesuccessjourney.com. Patience would like to thank you for listening to the podcast, and she has a free gift for you on her website, including an audio compilation of her guests' best tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. Additionally, there are special clips of over 250 episodes that have never aired on the podcast, and they're only available to members of the Online Success Journey. Check the website and click on Join Now to get free and instant access. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed on your favorite platform to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the online success journey and listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review the podcast at iTunes and other sites. We appreciate your help and your willingness to share your journey. One last thing. If you're feeling a bit lost or overwhelmed on your own journey, Patience can help. Check out her course on clarity while you're at the website. Finding clarity is a great way to get back on the right path. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.